Start getting some phone calls in here, but we still got a long way to go. You've got to hear Bill Clinton's definition of ISIS. I'll give you a hint. To him, they are a brilliantly conceived non-governmental organization. They are an NGO. It is, it's just amazing. Listen to Clinton. I'll read it to you. Defined because our Earth Day stack already told you more people getting rid of their electric cars and their hybrids. This is also the anniversary of the day that Elian Gonzalez was stolen from his home in South Florida by Janet Reno and given back to the Castro brothers in Cuba. And now Elian Gonzalez is, 15 years older, and he sounds just like a Castro. The news media went out and found him. And as I mentioned, it's Earth Day, and a bunch of anniversaries here on Earth Day. One of them is Elian Gonzalez. It's been 15 years since Elian Gonzalez, asleep in his aunt's home in Miami. You remember her, the lovely and gracious Maris Lacius, as pronounced by Gloria Estefan. Yeah, it was 15 years ago, and young Elian Gonzalez was asleep, and he was taken into custody by U.S. federal agents, and I'll never forget the picture of the agent storming into that little house. That agent looked like he was barging in on the Symbionese Liberation Army. I mean, gun was cocked, loaded, and aimed. The guy had the gun gloves on, the goggles, the helmet, the vest, all there for a 5-year-old kid. However old he was. 6 years old. He was taken into custody in the early morning hours of April 22nd. The agents burst into his room, guns drawn, scooped him up, got him out of there before the Cuban exile community could stop them, before they had even awakened and had their first cigar. Eric Holder was Janet Reno's deputy at the time. Janet Reno was the attorney general who ordered this. She'd even flown down there to offer to babysit. Eric Holder was her deputy at the time, and he was the person in charge of this entire operation. Now, just to remind you why this situation even existed, Elian Gonzalez's mother died while trying. Let me read this as ABC News writes it. Elian Gonzalez's mother died while trying to escape the harsh economic situation on the island by boarding a homemade raft with 10 other people and Elian. Trying to escape the harsh economic situation on the island. I should first point out that young Elian Gonzalez is now 21, and he has become a full-fledged propagandized member of the Cuban state. Elian Gonzalez, this is from the article, Elian Gonzalez told reporters at a youth congress in Ecuador in 2013 that it was the economic blockade imposed by the American government that caused his mother to risk her life and his so desperately in 1999. The economic blockade. Do you know who refers to our embargo as the blockade? Fidel Castro has always called it a blockade, and the reason is there is no television in Cuba other than what they want you to see. He has the citizens of Cuba envisioning a flotilla of American warships off-coast, offshore, blockading any arrival from the United States into Cuba. That's why the word blockade and not embargo. Fidel has purposely wanted his people to believe that it's a military blockade, not an economic one. And so when I saw that Elian Gonzalez was using Fidel's term for the embargo, that's all I needed to know. It had been fully propagandized. And I didn't even really need to know that, but it confirmed it. But listen to the way this is written. His mother died while trying to escape the harsh economic situation on the island. That's not why his mother died. His mother died trying to escape the tyranny of the Castro regime. But yet ABC News has to write this as though Elian Gonzalez's mother died because of us, because of the harsh economic policies of the U.S., the blockade. Every other country on earth trades with Cuba. So if they want to say that the blockade is the reason for Cubans' misery, economic misery, then it's not, doesn't say much for the other nations in the world. If Cuba is in the mess it's in only because it doesn't trade with the U.S., then what does that say about the U.K.? What does it say about Canada? What does it say about Saudi Arabia? They trade with all of these people. Just don't trade with us. Anyway, it's a long roundabout way of pointing out how the media just can't help blaming us. When it's the Castro brothers, it's the Castro regime that causes people to risk their lives fleeing the island. It's not the U.S. blockade. And the American media knows that.